What would you say, sir, are the responsibilities of a senior advocate?
Well, the first is the senior advocate must know that he should be prepared to sacrifice. He should be prepared to sacrifice money. That's the first condition. In South Africa, many of the justices in their constitutional court told me that they designate a lawyer only when they're sure that he can go hungry. That means he can make a sacrifice for a cause, for a case, for a litigant. And that requires courage. That requires tremendous courage. You can do it once, you can do it twice, but to have a binding commitment, that's, I think, the fundamental parameter which has to be taken into account. The second is, of course, the ability to be objective, dispassionate, articulate facts correctly, so that the court is assisted truly. The third is an element of proportion, to be able to say things in a proportionate way so that the right perspective emerges before the court. These require art, these require advocacy, and of course he must also be learned before putting across a point. These, I think, are fundamental features, but he has a great duty and responsibility to groom juniors. No senior advocate should function without training at least 3 to 4 juniors at a time. He's blessed with money, and he has to make some resources available for a young junior to survive in today's world. It's not like yesteryears when juniors could manage on smaller sums of money. Today's reality is different. And I think this is the least which a senior can do. He has to groom juniors, he has to train them. And this is the lasting contribution which he can make to the legal profession. And he must try to help particularly those juniors who don't have the advantage of a background, or who don't have the advantage of affluence, who belong to the marginalized sections of society. He must give them a chance. I think it's important. So there are conscious social choices which a senior advocate has to make constantly.
So you became senior advocate in 1993.
That's right.
Prior to becoming a senior advocate, what were the moments in your profession where you realized that your methods and processes were actually taking you in the correct direction? Were there specific cases that gave you the confidence to
Well, that's a very good question. I think when a judge recognizes the moral paradigm of a lawyer and appreciates it openly in court, that is food from heaven. I didn't need any breakfast or lunch or any food. I could sustain for days on a smile, on a compliment, on an appreciation that I was on the right track. And I could always then feel that the moral track of a judge and the lawyer is actually the same. I still maintain it. If a lawyer feels that the track is not the same, he's not feeling aligned, it should make him uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable if I don't feel that sense of alignment. For me, that is most important. I must feel aligned to the right center, to the right center of all human capacities, which is an objective dispensation of justice, fair dispensation of justice, pure dispensation, completely impartial in administration. I have to look at that. And if I can't feel that alignment, I would find ways of, I don't call myself God, but it would make me terribly uncomfortable. One of the first cases which I think was of some importance was the Shia Sunni case about shifting of graves, and Mr. Parashran was then the Attorney General and I was the lawyer for the state of UP. and how he was appointed as a court commissioner, and he gave a report that the shifting of graves may not be entirely advisable, and how the court ultimately accepted his advice. And I think it was so sound, that decision of the Supreme Court. It prevented ethnic riots, and it prevented bloodshed. And that's where the statesmanship of a lawyer, the way he puts forward a point of view, the ability of the court to assess what is needed surfaces. I think the younger lawyers are much brighter than what we were. They're much brighter. They read briefs. They are able to analyze facts. Their list of dates are very good. They're very quick. So I don't think I would like to sort of uppishly give advice where it's not needed at all. I need to give advice on only one thing, that if you want to be a litigating lawyer, or if you want to be a lawyer, what you need is tremendous inner reserves. You have to have a mettle. You're going to be tested. Life is never the same any 2 days, and certainly not for a lawyer. And you might sometimes have to walk through, shall we say, walk through the pathways of fire. You must have courage. You must have immense faith in yourself, in the law, and above all, in the positivism that justice prevails. The moment you start losing that faith, it hardly takes very long for the judge also to lose faith, and for the litigant also to lose faith. You're a central pillar in the system. It is in your faith and in the strength of your faith that people derive faith. We mutually derive faith between judges and lawyers. It's a matter of mutual trust. It's very sacred. It is very, very sacred. Therefore, we must know that it is in your confidence and in your ability to believe in yourself that people place faith in you. They need to. It's no judge can begin without a first moment of faith when he starts a case. He doesn't start with a negative assumption. He starts with a positive assumption. The lawyer starts with a positive assumption. And that faith, that even though we may be unpopular, we may be misunderstood, we may sound unpleasant, these are all calls which you have to take in your stride as a lawyer. It's not a bouquet. You can't expect to receive bouquets, and that's a wrong basis for a lawyer to grow. What is important is, as I said, the inner spring, the inner comfort must guide him whether he is doing something right or wrong. It is all about that inner confidence. But that confidence is very necessary. So a lawyer may not have money, but if he has that, which is his confidence, and he knows that he wants to do something right, just enough. It's just enough. We may not see him with our physical eyes being transported to the moon, but it is so much of energy for that lawyer. He can deal with the situation correctly. It is this ability to deal with the situation correctly which gives lawyer all the high, all the sense of, all the elation which his brain and his chemistry requires. And this is it. This is really the story of a lawyer. There can be many influences which make up this inner reserve, Some of it may be by pursuit of knowledge, not even legal knowledge, but even non-legal knowledge, multidisciplinary approach, but constant craving for learning and information. I find that those judges who have constantly wanted to explore and wanted to gain more and more and more information, and who feel constantly dissatisfied with what they've studied and they want to learn more and more, they get to the right spot without a moment's doubt. The same thing applies even to a lawyer.